Hey everyone, it's Lizzie and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be going over what my actual numbers were in the month of April, and a lot of things happened in April, so let's see what these numbers look like. So I plug in all of my numbers in the app EveryDollar. It is a free app and I have been using it for quite a while. It's just a way for me to better organize my expenses and just to have a map of where my money is going, and that's where I plug in all my numbers. As things come out, I go ahead and I just enter it in on that app. So with this, in case you are new and you don't know how I do my budget reviews, I use 3 different colors. So at first I plan out my month in one color, but then when I review it, I like to color code it. So the blue pen is for any bill that I spent less than what I budgeted for. So this is money saving. Red is anything that I overspend. So red is kind of like that I might need some work. However, with the income part, I will mark it in red if we ended up earning more than what we budgeted for. So in that case, that is a good thing. And then of course, black, which is just whatever color that you wrote out your original budget in, that same color, so in my case it's black, is just I broke even. So that is probably all of my fixed expenses because those are just a set bill and I pay that same amount every month. So now that we have all of that covered, I explained to you the color system. Let's get into actually putting it on paper. So I'll go ahead and I'll zoom you guys in here so that way you guys can follow along and actually see what I'm writing. All right, so I'm gonna see if I can plug in the number of what I see on EveryDollar. So let me just move my whole sheet aside, that way you can see it right here. So in the income, we break down my pay and then my husband's pay. So this is just a pretty low estimate, and what our actual numbers reflected was that my husband received $3,316.24, which is amazing. Oh my gosh, it's amazing. So we're gonna go ahead and just write that in here. And then for me, I received $2,733.87. Okay, so we will go ahead and just see what was the overage here. So I'm gonna go across. Okay, so it was over by $1,116.24, and then for mine, it was over by $833.87. So let's go ahead and add up our actual income that was earned for the month of April. And let's see what the difference was, taking this number, subtracting the budgeted. So we made $1,950 more than what we budgeted for. Isn't that incredible? A lot of it was like bonuses and different side work. So guys, it is possible to earn a little extra. You just have to be creative. And I honestly think we're truly blessed in our finances. So now moving on to this next section, which is the giving. And the tithe should reflect, in our case, 10% of what our income was. So for what we budgeted for, we budgeted 10% of that. So let's see in the EveryDollar what we actually gave for our tithe, and it should reflect this dollar amount right here. And in this case, based on the EveryDollar, it says that we gave $607. So that is pretty darn close. We usually give a little above the 10%, so that is amazing. So let's see how much overage, and I think it actually tells you right on the screen, right on the app, how much the difference was. But let me just calculate it here since I don't have that in front of me. So $197 is how much more we gave. Now this one is a little bit different. So usually in our offering, we give to a specific ministry, but because of like the churches and things being closed, what that ministry is, it's a meetup. So it's just a group that we're a part of. So in this case, because we didn't meet, we ended up saving that $20. Okay. So the difference was the $20. I was about to write it in the wrong color, or I was about to write 0. So the actual was 0. I wrote it wrong. The actual was 0 and the total savings was 20. So the total giving was 607 and the difference was 177. And now let's move down to this expense section. I'll see the best way that I can do the expense portion up here on the screen. I might be jumping back and forth, and let me know if you like seeing the Every Dollar app that I use for my budget alongside with the actual paper budget that I use. So let me know in the comments if you prefer this or if you'd like it to just be me writing it down. I just thought I'd try something new. So going down the line of this, let me just move this aside because I know most of these are the fixed expenses, so I don't see a sense of showing the Every Dollar. So the actual was $19.70, $48, and there was no difference here. HOA, because we sold our house in April, mid-April, we didn't have to pay the HOA because that's paid quarterly. So the actual was 0. And so that was a total savings of $51 that we didn't have to spend. Our water, this was the bill that we received. So the water was the $75.44. So there was no difference there. The electric bill, so we originally budgeted for $30. However, when we got the bill, it was $34.98. So the difference in this was $4.98 overage. And the phone, this was the $82.71. No difference here. Internet, this is a fixed expense as well. There's no difference there. ADT, we did pay that that month, and $14.99 for Spotify. iTunes, so I forgot to add in this month the extra iTunes that my husband received. So the amount that we paid was $198, and that was just a difference of 99 cents. I don't see a sense in showing that piece because it's so minimal. And then here, $6.99, this is the same. Car insurance, that was the $170.21, so that was the same. $12.90 for the ID theft, which is just like our identity protection. Our life insurance, that's a fixed amount. And credit card. So because we sold our house, we used the profit of that to pay off all of our debt. So for this, I didn't know how to write this in when it came to, so I'm just gonna put that from our income here, we did not apply it towards the debt because that debt payment was made from the sale of the house, if that makes sense. So in this case, I'm just gonna mark it that we didn't pay it from this pay because we didn't. So I'll say that it was 0, even though it wasn't, but just for this sake and explanation purposes, we didn't actually pay anything for that. Okay, and now let me show you the screen since this is the variable part, the groceries, gas, and all of that. For April, we decided to try out that cashless budgeting method and just use your debit card and use trackers and all of that. And so we ended up overspending. So our total grocery was $362.25, guys. $62.25 was over budgeted, and I was really upset. And so that is why cash really makes a big difference in our finances and money management, and it's just like really a mental thing. So if debit cards and all of that works for you, then obviously keep doing what works. We have been using the cash method for such a long time in the beginning of our budgeting journey. It's been such a success. So why change something that is working? So it's been working for us, and we're just gonna go back to that, which we are right now, and I'm so happy that we're switching. But yeah, we overspent on our grocery, the food budget, which I was really disappointed in us for that. We were moving, and it was kind of like a time where we couldn't really plan out those details. So I'm not trying to make excuses for me or anything. We could have done better. luckily we're able to improve that and reach our goals come May. Now SunPass, being that we're all in quarantine, we haven't been driving as much, so our SunPass and our gas has gone down dramatically. So SunPass, we actually loaded $64.79. So that's a total savings, and you'll see it right here on the screen. $30.21 is what we saved. And then our gas, the both of us, so my husband, he spent $156 filling up his car, and I spent $37.80 filling up my car. So that's a total of $193.80. That is a total savings of $106.20. So if you see, because I overspent in grocery, what offset it dramatically was our gas, that we didn't fill it. So we had the money in the bank to cover that. So I was really fortunate and so excited about that, that it all worked out. So now let me go ahead and add up our actual line so we can figure out what our total expenses truly was for the month of April. The total expenses ended up being $31.50.03. So $33.27 was what the total expenses we budgeted for. So that means $31.50.03, we were under budget. So $33.27.22 minus $31.50.03. So that's $177.19 that we were under budget in our this expense part of our budget. So I'm like, that is the craziest thing. So let's see what was our actual remaining amount. So we're gonna take the actual income, the $60.50.11. We're gonna subtract the actual tithe, and then we're gonna subtract the total expenses, $31.50.03. And this is gonna give us what is remaining. So $2,293.08 is what is remaining. What was in our budget here was $342.78 as our remaining amount. So that is insane. So let me write in the $2,293.08 as the actual remaining. And then, let me zoom you out, because we made a lot more with our paycheck budgets, we sectioned off a specific amount for expenses and then spending and also saving. So in this estimated monthly budget, we said, okay, bare minimum, our goal is to have for these categories. But what actually ended up happening is that we were able to stuff more cash envelopes and save for future goals, which is so crazy. So that's why with the monthly budget, it really just gives you a guide of, you know what, if this is how much you're gonna make, this is what you need to apply that money to, and then focus on other goals. So in this case, we paid our bills, we had that fixed into our budget. We wanted to save for emergencies because we had to grow that emergency fund, and then we had to get the needs. So car maintenance, home, medical, pet, and toiletries were the envelopes that we wanted to apply funds for, okay? Well, in this case, to set it aside in our bank account. So I'm gonna write in some of the categories that we didn't include on the budgeted amount. So what I didn't write in here was anniversary, eating out, Father's Day, Mother's Day, and I think that is it. Oh, and Christmas. Based on the Every Dollar, I have a separate portion in my Every Dollar that shows these numbers. So let me put that right here. That way you guys can follow along, and I'll have this zoomed out just a little bit. So I have a sinking funds section for my Every Dollar for these particular categories. So I'm gonna just run down the line right here so that way we could follow along on the paper. So for car maintenance, we budgeted $30, and what we put in was actually $30. Home, we budgeted $10, and the actual was $10. Medical, we budgeted $50, but our actual was $30. Pet, we budgeted 60, but the actual was 78 that we spent. And then toiletries, we budgeted 10, but the actual was the $3.97. I should just put $4, but it's all right. And then these next ones we didn't budget for. So anniversary, we ended up spending 20. So I'm gonna write these in red since they weren't accounted for. Eating out, we spent $39.96. Father's Day, we took out 20. Mother's Day, we took out 40. And then Christmas, we took out 40. So let me add up how much we actually spent. So I'll go down this side and then I'll type in the red. Okay, so the total was $311.93 that we actually spent. So taking the $22.93.08 and we're gonna subtract that total, $311.93, this leaves us with a remaining balance of $1,981.15. Guys, that is crazy. So as I mentioned, we sold our house, we became 100% debt-free, and then with the sale of our home, we were able to not only become debt-free, but also fully fund our emergency fund of 3 months worth of our expenses. And the reason why we chose 3 months is because both my husband and I, we have full-time jobs, we have reliable jobs, and we're not like at risk or anything. So that is truly a blessing. So we have our 3 months worth of expenses in our emergency savings. So again, just the same way, wrote in 0 of what we applied for the credit card because of the sale of the house. Any extra we did apply once we received the funds from the sale of the house to our emergency fund to complete that, and then start our house future home savings. So that is crazy. Let me write in from the last paycheck, which is right here. We applied $488.27, not to the emergency, but to the house. $488.27. That's what we actually put towards savings. The difference, so taking that $1981.15 and subtracting the $488.27, we're still left with $1492.88. And honestly, in the budget, how it works for us is we got paid, or I get paid the last day of the month. And so that last paycheck, I receive it and I put it in here in that month of when I receive the income, but all of the expenses go towards the following month. So that's the following month cash envelopes, sinking funds, future bills, anything like that. Those money get applied to that. And so with this, we had to pay for our rent of our apartment here. So we not only we paid our mortgage, but we also had to put money for this apartment. So really this is not like truth of what we actually had left over. Like this is not in our bank account of just sitting there. We did use this money to pay our rent, but that won't reflect in this budget. That's going to reflect in May's budget since we paid it that time. So I hope you're following along. I hope you understood that. And I really truly hope that watching these types of videos gives you some understanding to see, you know what, it's possible to see like where your money is going. And the way that I do my budgeting, it may not work for you, and that's perfectly okay as long as you have a plan. So I'm not super detailed and focused on all of the tracking on my budget. That's why I have my Every Dollar app, because my Every Dollar app is on my phone and I keep that with me at all times. I can't take this with me at all times and mark in all of that. That's just not who I am, and that's not how my way of life is. My phone is with me. It's simple. I just put in my number of what I'm spending, and that's how I track my spending. So if you found this video helpful, or if you have any questions for me about how I have something laid out, then definitely let me know in the comments. I just want to let you know that I really want to give back. And so a way that I can do that I think will really bless you all is it's on my blog and on my weekly newsletter. I truly believe that this will be helpful And if I could just bless one person, then I did my job. So I have some free resources on my blog. It's budgetessentialsco.com. The link is in the description. There is free like budget printables there, trackers are there, and I think it will be beneficial. And also, if you sign up for my newsletter, I send out weekly like inspiration emails, and also there are freebies in that email as well, which may be a little different than what's on the website. So I really hope that you guys consider joining the newsletter fam and be inspired. But I really just, it's my way of giving back, even if it's so small. But I really hope that those who are signed up for the newsletter, you all love what you receive and are inspired each and every week from those messages. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to hit the thumbs up button, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and I will see you guys in a brand new video. Bye guys.